Hi, I'm Robin Schultz with the Hoover Channel. Don't forget to hit subscribe so you'll always know when we have a new video coming up.
The bills, have the minutes for March 19th and March 23rd, and then go over resolution number 879626, Ms. Dickerson. This is a resolution approving an alcohol license for Center Stage Comedy, Birmingham, LLC, doing business as Stardome Comedy Club. Any issues with this?
There are no issues with this request from Planning and Zoning or from the Police Department.
Were there any comments or questions regarding this alcohol license? All right, we'll move on to resolution number 879726, approving an alcohol license for Burrito Brothers Birmingham, doing business as Trampled by Tacos, Cinco de Mayo 2026, located at parking lot of 5363 Highway 280 South Suite 101B. Ms. Dickerson, any issues with this?
There are no issues with this request from the Police Department or from the Planning and Zoning Department.
Any comments or questions regarding this license? Okay, moving on to resolution 879826, authorizing the mayor to execute a public safety communication service subscription agreement between the City of Hoover and Insight Public Sector. Ms. Moore.
Good evening, everybody. Hope everyone is well. These are two, actually, this resolution and the one immediately following are both 911 related, if you want us to speak with both at the same time.
Sure, I'll go ahead and read that next one. That's
Sure.
also number 6, resolution number 879926, authorizing the mayor to execute a service agreement with Vector Solutions for public safety training services for Hoover 911.
Okay, these are a subscription base and software related to training and operational needs for the center, and I'm going to let manager Michael Knight speak to the details. Go ahead, Michael.
Thank you. Good evening. 879826, this is going to be for the prepared modules. It is a 36-month term subscription, and it's year 1 is approved in budget. Years 2 and 3 will have to be budgeted for in subsequent years. It'll allow us to enhance our quality assurance and ensure that calls are routed to the appropriate personnel, and it'll also help us manage non-urgent calls in the sense of being able to process them quicker for things such as animal control and the like, and to route callers to where they actually need to go quicker. All right.
Mr. President, Mr. Knight, the 346 is the sum total of the 3 installments?
That is correct.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
And this is budgeted.
Yes.
Year 1 is budgeted, years 2 and 3 have to be.
Still have to work with, okay.
I have a question.
Okay.
Is it replacing anything or is it in addition to what you have already?
It is in addition to what we already have. So Alabama 911 Board provides us with the core module. These will help supplement it, and it will help with the workload in the 911 center.
Any other questions, comments? Very good. You can move on to 879926.
Okay, this is for Frontline. This would allow us to have a platform to better manage our personnel files when it comes to performance evaluations. It also opens up a public platform to allow them to do commendations, recognitions, and complaints, and it's an online portal that allows the public to directly get in contact with management and say how we're doing. It also allows us to better manage our personnel and ensure that they are meeting the needs for the citizens, as well as checking to see how they are doing in a snapshot to make sure that the workload is not overwhelming them.
Very good. And this is a budgeted item?
It is.
Okay. Any further comments or questions?
Something not included in this, Linda. When is the 911 board due to meet again?
I will have to get the date for you. Should be, well, Mr. Barnett, Scott, do you know the date of that? the next meeting, the 911 board? Yes, sir.
Not the state board, but the city board.
Oh, I thought you was talking about the state board
ma'am, the city
in
board.
Montgomery.
The city board.
Okay. We call those as needed. If-
Okay, I
if-
thought we were required to have annual meetings.
I don't believe so, but I will verify that with the new Caleb Branch, who's the new executive director of the board.
Okay, well, I didn't know,
when-
having
Yeah.
3 new members and a new chairman for the 911 board.
Very good
whether or
point.
not that would be called for a meeting in itself.
Right. I'll certainly look into that. But when we submit our annual certification each year, we listed all of the new names as being members of the board and sent it to Montgomery. And they asked that question, how often and when, and they were satisfied as needed, or when an issue arises that we would meet. But certainly, if the 911 board here at the city wants to have an standing annual meeting, we certainly would do that, so.
Well, it's not like we don't have enough to do already. I
Sure.
just thought we had an obligation, that's all.
Yeah,
Thank
I'll
you,
get
ma'am.
back with you, thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Very well, thank you.
Okay.
Ms. Cobal. Start with resolution number 880026, authorizing the mayor execute a memorandum of understanding and intergovernmental agreement between the city of Hoover and the University of Alabama for the rental of equipment for the 2026 SEC baseball tournament.
Good evening. Yes, this is a short-term agreement with the University of Alabama. We rent 12 open-gate weapon detectors for use at the SEC baseball tournament. We've been doing this for the past several years. They also bring one of their staff members on site should we have any issues or need anything to be resolved. So, this makes it very much more efficient in getting people in the stadium, especially during high-traffic areas, because you don't have to hand your bag over to be checked. You can just walk through these gates for scanning. So this is a $19,500 expense that is budgeted.
Very good. You hear that, Gene? Don't pack during the SEC baseball tournament.
Yeah.
Okay.
I figured there'll be enough police officers around.
Any comments or questions regarding this item? All right, we'll move on to resolution 880126, authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with Eastern Shore Inflatables for equipment rental for Celebrate Hoover Day.
Yes, Celebrate Hoover Day is coming up quick. It's on Saturday, April 25th. We're looking forward to that. Hope everyone will join us. This is one of our rental companies we would like to use this year. As you mentioned, an agreement with Eastern Shore to provide a variety of items, including inflatables, carnival rides, a Ferris wheel, a zip line, and more. This is a budgeted expense at $24,985.
Very well. Get ready for some apple pie and ice cream.
Absolutely.
Any comments or questions regarding this item? Okay. Moving on to 880226, accepting the donation of a sculpture from Manley Yielding and authorization of a donation agreement for installation at Star Lake.
Yes, so this is something we've been working on for a while. We've wanted to add art to the parks around the town, and I'm excited that Manley Yielding has stepped up with an art sculpture he obtained from Birmingham Southern College when they closed recently. This sculpture will be installed at Star Lake at the corner of Deodara Drive and Oriole Drive. He has also had a plaza designed for that area. He will be responsible for the installation of the sculpture and the creation of that plaza area. The city will be responsible for a small section of the sidewalk to be relocated. So there's been discussions ongoing with the Arts Council, so they're aware of this, and the Park Board has approved it as well. This will be a tri-party agreement that the Park Board will review on Tuesday as well.
Very good. Any comments or questions
Yeah,
regarding this item?
Mr. President, I should have, so we won't waste time. Wendy, is it possible, since we're talking about, to show the photos of that sculpture and just the architectural rendering? Is in a package if it's hard to get to. I had to put it on the screen here for the public to see.
You want that tonight or Monday night?
If she can put it up there, just quickly. If not, then we can do it on Monday. You sure? I mean,
It's giant. It's really tall.
I think if you scroll through the agreement, it's on
You know,
the back
hey,
pages
Wendy.
as exhibits.
hey, so is to save time, because I thought you'd get to it quick,
Oh, there.
There it
okay,
is.
you got it, okay.
I just didn't want to show it scrolling.
I got you. I understand that.
So I was just trying to make it look nicer once I finish.
All right.
Do you want to see what the plaza's going to look
Yeah,
like?
just the plaza, if you can pull that up. If not, yeah. It's good.
Any further comments or questions?
Mr. President, I am a graduate of Birmingham Southern, and I've walked by that statue hundreds of times on the way to the library, so I'm really excited we're going to have that in our city.
Any further comments or questions? All right, thank you. Move on to Resolution 880326, authorizing the mayor to execute an agreement with the Alabama Department of Transportation for a Transportation Alternatives Program grant for improvements at Lock Haven Park. Ms. Rosemary.
Good evening. We're excited. The city was awarded a TAP grant through the MPO from ALDOT for Lock Haven Park. And so we're going to be doing about 3,500 feet, give or take, of walking trail. And there'll be a couple of creek crossings and then connectivity with the neighborhood. And when it crosses a street, we're going to be sure there's an ADA compliant, upgraded crosswalk there. And it is $1 million award with $200,000, a match from the city. So it's $800,000 from the federal funds and $200,000 from Hoover.
Very good. And 200,000 is budgeted?
There, on next meeting, there's going to be a budget, like some transfers of funds that'll fund this. But yes,
Okay. Where will the budgeted funds be transferred from?
we've had some projects that we've closed out, and the projects are complete, but the funds were not closed out. So a traffic signal that's complete at Patton Chapel North and Highway 31, from the sidewalk on Chapel Lane, sidewalk on Alcere, sidewalk on Old Columbiana, and sidewalk on Thornton Place. So they're, with the exception of Chapel, which is 95% complete, all those are completed projects, just to be able to fund this.
Any further comments or questions regarding this item? Okay. We will move on to number 11. Thank you. Resolution number 880426, authorizing the mayor to execute a memorandum of understanding between the Federal Bureau of Investigation and the Hoover Fire Department for EMT training and cooperative emergency services support. Chief Bentley.
Thank you, Mr. President, Council. This resolution is a request for a contract or MOU with the FBI for EMT training. Typically, we don't enter into these contracts, but FBI, they're wanting to utilize some of our EMT training that we do regularly as part of their continued education units.
Very good. Any comments or questions regarding this item? Thank you, Chief. Moving on to resolution number 880526, authorizing the mayor to execute a contract with Clearview for software for the Hoover Police Department. Chief Morris.
Mr. President, Council, Mayor, this resolution number is in reference to some software that we requested back in February that we did a budget amendment. You approved the budget amendment. We used federal inmate funds to purchase this. It'll be used for our investigative process with our intelligence unit and all of our investigative units to help them identify suspects. And for year 2 and year 3, we intend to include that either in our operating expense line item or use federal inmate funds if we need to.
Very good. Any comments or questions regarding this item? Moving on to Resolution 880626, awarding a bid for bid number 26-003, Police Department Uniforms and Accessories with Municipal and Commercial Uniform and Equipment Incorporated.
Yes, sir. Again, through the Finance Department and our bid specialist, we opened a bid. They successfully received actually one complete bid package. It was opened at the day of when the bids were opened, and that was for MAC Uniform. MAC Uniform has provided uniforms and services in the past to the city, and we've been pleased with their services, so we would recommend approving this award.
Very good. Any comments or questions regarding it?
Mr. President, Chief, what's the total of that bid?
The total for all the line items this year is a little over $10,000.
Right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any further comments, questions? Thanks, Chief.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Moving on to Resolution 880726, rejecting all bids received for bid number 26-001, Hoover Met Complex Daily and Event Cleaning and Facility Services, and authorizing re-advertisement of the project. Mr. Ely, welcome.
Yeah, good evening. We had a committee comprised of members from Parks and Recreation, Building Services, and the Hoover Met Complex. We worked with Tina DiClemente to put this bid together out in early January. We did receive 8 qualified bids that came back, all exceeded our budgeted funds. In consultation with Attorney Scott Barnett, we could not significantly change the scope of services or anything like that. So his recommendation was that we reject all bids and modify the scope and reissue the bid.
Very good. Any comments or questions regarding this item?
Mr. President, is there time to be able to rebid before the tournament?
No, sir, and I think there's been some hesitation to switch prior to the tournament anyway. We'd like to keep the same contractors we've had the last several years. That they've done a good job for us.
Is that going to end up being a no bid situation, or how
We are going to come back in 2 weeks and ask for an extension of the current contract through the fiscal year with our current vendor.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions for Mr. Ely?
You anticipate them maintaining their same unit price, costs?
Well, part of it was we had some hourly rates because we had different scopes. We had daily cleaning, we had during event cleaning, post-event cleaning, and then full venue cleans.
Yeah.
And some were hourly rates and some were lump sum rates.
Yeah.
And like I said, we tried to figure out as a committee how we were best to evaluate it. And Mr. Barnett thought we needed to evaluate it in totality. So I think we can go back and revise some of the scope that we had put in there, like some pressure washing, window cleaning, and stuff like that, to still get us covered.
For the current contract, right?
Current contract, we're fine.
Yeah, so but you say you're asking for extension?
We will in 2 weeks. We'll come back and ask for an extension with Pritchard Industries, our current contractor.
And you think they'll keep their same
Yes.
cost? That's what I was saying.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
thank
Yes,
you.
sir. Yes, sir. Sorry.
No, you're fine, you're fine.
Very good. Any other comments or questions?
Mr. President, will they be required to have a bond?
I would have to ask Tina DiClemente about that.
That's from a couple of meetings back.
Yes, I remember.
Any other comments or questions? Thank you. Resolution number 8812-26, authorizing the mayor to execute a contract continuation letter with Stone & Sons Electrical Contractors for traffic signal and roadway lighting services. Mr. Promer.
So that item's going to be pulled and put on the next council session, so.
We were told that this was a time-sensitive extension, so.
Yep. So this morning, we had discussions that we needed to push that to next session, so it was going to be pulled from the agenda today.
Okay. We'll discuss. If we need to pull it on Monday night, we'll pull it.
Okay.
Okay. You want to fill us in on it just in case we hear it?
Yeah. So this contract's for the lighting contract. I didn't bring it with me because it was going to get pulled.
Got you.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
We'll move on then.
Okay.
Thank you. we'll move on to resolution number 8808-26, approving an application for authority to incorporate the Inverness River Chase Sewer Board, authorizing the persons filling said application to proceed to form such corporation pursuant to section 11-50-230, section of the Code of Alabama. Mr. Munger.
Good evening. So the two applications or the two documents that are proposed for council action as relayed by the council president are both related to the formation of what's known in the code as a Government Utility Services Corporation, acronym GUSC. We have proposed the name for that to be the Inverness River Chase Sewer Board, which is a little bit more familiar for those residents that we actually provide service to. And this is simply keeping with our commitment to upkeep and quantify the city's infrastructure and its various needs. A few meetings back, we asked the council for support on a contract with Wagner Engineering, who we are now working with to inventory and provide capital planning documents to the council to allow us to make a responsible decision on what investments are required in the sewer system moving forward. A second corollary part to that is the formation of the GUSC, which will provide, in concert with city staff initially and in the future as a standalone group, oversight for the operation and maintenance of those facilities, which are comprised of the two separate sewer plants and serving around 15% of the households in the city, as well as around 900 households outside of the city currently. So there are no costs associated with this at this time, but you do have a qualifying petition as certified by Mr. Barnett, one of the city's attorneys that's here, with the petitioners being Dr. Elizabeth Martin, Mr. Robert Fowler, and Mr. Scott McFadden. And those are also incorporated into the resolution. Traditionally, the petitioners for the group are considered as the initial appointees, and you'll see the staggered terms in that resolution as reflected by the Code of Alabama.
Very good. He's referring, and we'll go ahead and read that. Resolution number 8809-26, appointing members to the Board of Directors of the Inverness River Chase Sewer Board. Any comments or questions regarding, well, first, resolution number 8808-26, formation?
Mr. President, if I could, who is going to own the physical assets of the systems once this takes place?
So initially, with the two action items that are proposed at this time, there is no transfer of physical assets. This is to support the planning and inventory efforts of the city, and part of that is requires basically some optimization of some different properties that we have. For example, we have the archery park in Inverness that is a singular parcel, the same parcel on which the sewer plant is located. We need to clean up a few of those items. We're working through title reports and different inventories. And at some point in the future, when the GUSC members and staff present the capital plan to council, I do anticipate that it will be with a request to transfer those assets at a future date and time. But as of today, these actions merely form the GUSC with no specific obligation to transfer property, although I do think that is in the long-term plan.
Without digging through all these volumes of paper, which explains why we have so much this time, who are the members that would be appointed?
So the three members are Dr. Liz Martin, Mr. Rob Fowler, and Mr. Scott McFadden. And so again, they will be working and helping direct some of our work on the staff level and with our consulting engineers, the net effect of which will be to compile a report and inventory and recommendations to bring back to council sometime, hopefully around, I would say, August or September. We've already been working on it, but it's appropriate at this time to stand this organization up and begin to familiarize them with the assets of the system as we basically become familiar with them ourselves.
Can their contact information be provided to the council before Monday?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Smith, any more comments?
Yeah, so just a couple of questions. So and I understand we're doing a condition assessment to come up with our capital planning efforts. So the purpose, can that still occur without setting up a GUS? Just so I'll kind of know
The condition assessment?
yeah, all the condition assessment associated with it to come up with a capital plan. Can it, and I understand the purpose of that.
It could. And again, we've already initiated that process. That's why the contract with Wagner was brought to council to begin with.
Right.
Again, the system has been assessed previously. I think last in 2024, which was a report that I had provided to council before.
Right.
We believe those reports are largely accurate, but in order to fully inventory the system, the assets, and also the obligations of the sewer system, which are significant and in some cases intertwined with city finances, we need to kind of redo that and get that into what I would call a transferable mode to even consider doing that to the GUSC, which is not possible as of today.
Yeah. So, and the members on the board, are they all employees?
No, none of them are employees.
So no employees. So, just so I'll know who they are, can we just get their resume?
Yes, and we have those. I think you'll find their professional experience to be compelling. And to your question about employees, the code stipulates the qualification of petitioners.
Yeah, I just want to know.
And so all three are qualifying residents of the city.
Okay.
But I believe the code prohibits any of those members from being city employees.
Yeah. So, and last question I have, so the council appoints the GUS board members?
The GUS board members are recommended by the mayor.
So they're recommended by the mayor.
And approved by the council or presented for approval by the council.
So legal, just so I'll be clear, that's just what the statute says on this. A GUS has to be recommended by and then approved. Okay, I just want to know the protocol and process associated. Okay, thank you.
Any other comments or questions regarding this item? Any for the resolution number 8809-26, naming the three members of the board? Very well, we'll move on.
Thank you.
These will be public hearings. First is resolution number 8786-26, granting conditional use approval for the operation of an event venue at the property located at 2084 Valleydale Road. Mr. Martin.
Good afternoon. I do not have any updates from the first reading. Just a quick reminder, this is a smaller event venue slated for Valleydale Road in the River Chase Plan Unit Development. The property zone PC Plan Commercial. This did come with a positive recommendation from the Planning Commission. There were a couple of recommended conditions to be placed on approval should the council decide to approve it. The first being that parking and sidewalk on site are to meet the latest accessibility requirements. 2, improvements to the driveway access are to be made in accordance with the traffic analysis that was provided. 3, plans for the site improvements are to be produced by a civil engineer and submitted for permitting. And finally, the applicant would obtain a business license prior to opening.
Very good. Any comments or questions for Mr. Martin regarding this?
Mr. President, Mac, they are aware of the city noise ordinance about outside music, things like that?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Very well, we'll move on to ordinance number 262694 to amend ordinance number 263 of the City of Hoover, titled the zoning ordinance of the City of Hoover, Alabama for the property located at 3269 Monte de Oro Drive to be zoned R1, single family.
Yes, sir. This is a property that was previously annexed, a smaller donut hole in our city limits, and as of right now, is reflected on the zoning map as not zoned. And this particular ordinance amendment would be to place an R1 zoning designation on the property, which matches the use of the property as a single-family residence. Our office is asking if the council could consider this and the other 2 rezoning cases that we have on the docket for Monday night for the public hearing this upcoming Monday night, but we would like to position these 3 rezoning cases to where they are actually adopted after the council considers approval of the official zoning map. The physical map that we have that's printed does not reflect these three rezonings on it. So just to keep things in an orderly fashion, our preference would be for the rezonings to occur after the adoption of the official map.
Yeah, since the next three ordinances will affect the zoning map, which the zoning map is further down the agenda on the last one for a first reading again, I would ask the council to consider moving that zoning map ordinance before these next zoning ordinances that we hear from MAC and consider immediate consideration on Monday night, so we can get all that done on one meeting.
And we'll have the official zoning map here Monday night, unfurled and on display, so anybody can take a look at it.
Any comments or questions regarding this ordinance for Monte-Dore Drive?
Mr. President, are any of these three that are coming before us, are they hurrying along enough to where we would need to consider suspending the rules?
This
Businesses
ordinance,
involved?
These are second readings of these ordinances.
Okay, but
So no need to suspend the rules.
okay,
Only on the zoning map would we need to suspend. the rules.
okay, all right. Thank you, sir.
Any other comments, questions? Okay, moving on to ordinance number 2691, to amend ordinance number 263, the City of Hoover, Alabama, entitled Zoning Ordinance of the City of Hoover, for the property located at 204 Shelterwood Circle being zoned from R1 Single Family to RLSF Legacy Single Family.
yes, sir. This property is currently in the city of Hoover and has been for some time. It's currently zoned R1. The applicant desires to make a front porch addition onto their home that would encroach in the required setback of the R1 zone. So the Legacy Single Family Residential District was specifically tailored to allow for covered, unenclosed front porches to extend beyond that 35-foot front setback mark. So that is the request. What the applicant is preparing to do as far as the improvements to the home will meet the requirements of the Legacy Single Family Residential District. They have actually obtained a variance from the Board of Zoning Adjustment to go forward with their construction project. That was conditioned on them submitting a rezoning application to this Legacy District, which they did. They've complied with that. And so it comes before you with a positive recommendation from the Planning Commission.
Very good. Any comments or questions regarding this item? All right, moving on to ordinance 262690, amend ordinance 263, the City of Hoover, for the property located at 3236 Pinehurst Drive being zoned to R1 Single Family District.
Yes, sir. This is another property that was previously annexed and is currently not zoned according to our official zoning map. And therefore, we are requesting that it be zoned R1 in keeping with the zoning of the surrounding properties. This comes to you with a positive recommendation from the Planning Commission as well.
Very good. Any comments or questions regarding this item? All right, now we move on to ordinance number 262689, an ordinance to adopt the revised zoning map of Hoover, Alabama.
Yes, sir. This is to adopt a fresh physical map as required by law for us to have on public display and to modify said physical map in accordance with any further zoning amendments that this body is to approve. The current physical official zoning map that we have has had a number of amendments over time. It was adopted in 2023, and so it's a little worse for wear given the amount of amendments that have been made to it, and it was not a very fine paper used for that particular printout. This is going to be a much higher quality map as well, so it should be able to withstand being in a public place much better than the paper one does right now.
Very good. Mr. Dickerson, I would ask that you move this ordinance to before number 19 on the agenda, ordinance number 262694, and we will consider this for immediate consideration.
Mr. President, I would like to point out that the adoption of the new official zoning map does not carry with it any zoning changes across the city. It is a reflection of the zoning that is in place as of today.
Very good. Any comments or questions regarding this item? Okay, thank you. Moving on, this will be a first reading for ordinance number 262692, ordinance of the City of Hoover to modify Chapter 11.5 Parks and Recreation thereto, and to repeal all ordinances and parts of the ordinance of the City of Hoover in conflict therewith.
Yes, sir. This updates our park rules to the park classification system as it was included in the Parks and Public Spaces Plan, and it's recommended by a collective team that included representatives from Parks and Recreation, Park Maintenance, Police and Fire, as well as reordering some of the rules for the classification and consistency, as well as the addition of some specific rules related to preserves and public gardens. So there's several different classifications of the parks, and some of the updates include, these were minor updates, like for active parks, it establishes the core rules and ordinances for all parks. So for passive parks, it builds on the core rules, but it adds no swimming because some of those passive parks include lakes. Under preserves, it expands on the core rules, but it adds no glass or breakable containers and no altering plants to protect the environmental integrity of these spaces. It also adds no organized sports since there's no athletic fields or preserve on the properties. For the public gardens, it adds no unauthorized tents and no bird seed, so that doesn't cause any issues with those that use those spaces. So overall, it updates all the rules, and with the approval, it will allow us to update all the signage in the parks, which is desperately needed, and include this ordinance on the signs to help with enforcement.
Very good. This will be a first reading on Monday night. Any comments or questions for Ms. Cobal?
Do you happen to have a red line version that tracks the changes from old to new?
We don't. I can send you a comparison, but the way it was formatted, it would be all
Understood.
redlined. So we can get that to you tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Any other comments or questions? Okay, thank you. For the next two items, I will be abstaining, so I will pass the gavel along to Pro-Tem Driver on the next two.
Item number 24 on the regular agenda, resolution number 8810-26, is a resolution of acceptance of employees' request to review the March 23rd, 2026 Personnel Review Board disciplinary decision. Mr. City Attorney? Mr. Brunson?
Well, I'm sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, Johnny. No.
I'm going to answer any questions.
Okay. Johnny's done the heavy lifting on this. That's why he jumped up so quickly. So I don't want to steal his thunder. But this is an appeal from an employee. There was a disciplinary action under our rules. You have a personnel review board. It's not a personnel board, it's a review board. They reviewed the actions of the supervisor in the discipline. They determined that the discipline was appropriate. The employee has a right to appeal that decision to the city council. So that's what this is.
Any questions or comments?
Madam President, Mr. Attorney, and I know we've talked to this at length, but I know that talking about the good name and character, that does not qualify for an executive session, even though you would come out to the public to make any votes.
This is kind of a unique situation. It hasn't been come before the council before.
It's never occurred in this city before.
That's correct. Never has. And we've discussed this among ourselves. Without any guidance on here, it would appear that when the employee determines that he or she is going to appeal that decision to the council, then they waived any right to claim good name and character. So you can have whatever the discussion is, and I say that because the law that you have, the ordinance clearly says these are public documents. So it would seem to me that it would intend for these to be a public meeting here, and you'd have some discussion about it.
If the council
Now,
were to choose to go into executive session, would it be legal?
Would it be legal to do what?
To go into executive session talking about the good name and character of an employee?
I think they waived that when they made the appeal to the board.
Even though they waived it, and if the council chose
If you chose to do that,
to do it, would it be legal?
the council can determine its own intentions, even though you didn't pass this. You can declare what that is. So if the council wants to take the action of somebody saying, I make a motion that we clarify this and determine that good name and character should be an option for the employer, should be an option for the council, or should be an option for the city, then you certainly do that.
I'm just throwing it out there for consideration, that's all.
Well, the first step is going to be to actually accept this. It's been appealed.
Correct.
So the first step is to accept it, and then the next step would be for you, if you choose to have a discussion about it. But if you want to go into executive session, it'd be my recommendation that you have a motion that you clarify the intention of this ordinance, and that the intention of the ordinance is that any discussion of good name and character be an executive session. And that means probably any discussion that you have will not be public. But you can declare that.
Madam President, I don't know what the intentions of the council are, or whether we're going to vote to hear the appeal. But if we do, should we ask the city attorney to come up with a document just in case we were to ask to go into executive session, stating that providing whatever legal reasons, and you being an attorney, I think that probably you would be able to sign off on it as well. Not necessarily signing the document, but using your legal mind to be able to understand the point that the city attorney is using, if it is qualified as an exemption from the state sunshine law.
Well, I certainly think we could get something written up by the city
Yep,
attorney to help with
that's
that.
not a problem. We can do a one-sheeter that'll be really easy for you to follow. So if you determine that, first step is accepting the appeal and determining that you want to get involved.
Yes, sir.
That's got to pass first. If that passes, then the next step's going to be how you want to do this. And we'll tell you what we think the law says. But it goes back to what I said just a moment ago. You are the legislative body. You can interpret your own ordinances however you choose. And if an ordinance is not clear, and this one is not clear on that issue, then you can say it's the intention of the council that these the discussion of this, because by the very nature of what it is, it's going to be good name and character. So by the very nature of that being good name and character, any discussion of this would be done privately, and then you would have to come out, according to the law, you'd have to vote in the open meeting.
Thank you.
Does that help?
Madam President, and thank you for that, City Attorney. I would, since we public, recommend, because this is a unique situation for Hoover, that we set precedents the same way on good name and character as it to be something that's not in the public, just to protect individuals. But, and correct me if I'm wrong, and just to clarify executive session, I want everyone to understand that no decision is made in executive session, or is clearly informational, information to ask questions, but anything that happens occurs publicly. So I just want to be clear, and correct me if I'm wrong on that. Anytime a meeting takes place in executive session, the body is not determining how each other would choose to vote on something. It's clearly informational in essence to protect good name and character or any other statute that's within that bucket associated with it. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, I messed up on some language associated with it. But I would recommend that anything with perceived as good name and character that can be supported by our legal team remain that. And that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, whatever happens in the executive session should stay within the executive session. That's the purpose of, that's why it's outside of the public. So we can give you a checklist, and we can also prepare a resolution that if you want to clarify and say that this it involves good name and character, and we'll go into executive session that was the intention of this particular ordinance. If you can make arguments on either side. You can say, well, if they intended for this to be public, since they said that it's the records are open, then they should have said that the good name and character should be done openly. You can make that argument. So if you get half a dozen lawyers that tell you that you go on either side of this. We just happen to err on the side of transparency. But if the council determines that you want this to be an executive session, you certainly can clarify that.
Mr. Waldron, I wasn't trying to suggest one way or the other. I was just
I
trying to
understand.
understand the options. That's
And I'm just telling you, I'm trying to explain our opinion because there's not any case law on this to help us out, and there's a number of opinions that we've looked at. So we, in the scope of going through this, we erred on the side of transparency. But if the council determines that this is something that should be done privately.
But Mr. Waldron, let me ask you a question. You, to Mr. Smith's point, and then to Mr. Murphy's point, in that in the executive session, a vote cannot be taken, which
That's
brings
correct.
up the next item,
That's
which
correct.
would be item number 25. We're under a timeline also on this.
You need to make that decision then.
Yeah.
When you come out, you need to make that decision. And it would be inappropriate for you to share with each other how you're going to vote in executive session or attempt to be persuasive of some other vote. The only thing that you can discuss in the executive session, if you clarify your ordinance, is good name and character. That's it. Nothing else.
So your point is he's made this public, so it should be,
That's what we've decided, but you could, I can make this argument on the other side just as easily. But if the council will take a position on it and say, this is what we believe our ordinance means, then you can do the executive session. We have to certify you going into executive session. That's what the law requires. We're not going to certify that, but you can clarify it, and then we'll certify it. If you tell us this, lawyers, you didn't understand that it was the intention of the council that these good name and character not be waived, and that will be done in executive session. At that point, we say we certify this as an exception.
Mr. City Attorney, would it be appropriate for your team to go ahead and prepare the paperwork and the documents as Councilman Smith suggested, so that we can make that determination on Monday night, one way or the other?
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. So I assume by that you mean, since you're going to be chairing that portion of it, you mean have a resolution that clarifies that?
That
Sure.
clarifies,
Yeah.
yes.
And we've looked at this quite a bit, and we leave it up to y'all. You make your decision. If you want to be in executive session, not a problem.
And just to be clear, when we talk about going into executive session to discuss the good name and character, would that include an opportunity for legal counsel for each side to
No,
present
it would
anything
not.
to us? So that
No.
would happen publicly, no matter what?
Yeah, you know, there again, it is our opinion that if you accept this appeal and you say you want to get involved in determining whether or not you will uphold the appeal, then any discussions about that would be public. About if you want to give a reason, you don't have to. But if you say, well, I think that it was too harsh, I think it was not, it was too lenient, you can say whatever you want to about that. But you can't get new evidence, because the purpose of this is to review the evidence of what occurred and what the Personnel Review Board reviewed. It's not about anything that's new. There shouldn't be any introduction of additional evidence into it.
So it'll just be the binders that we were already provided.
Yes, yeah, there again, if in the clarification, since this is such a vague ordinance, if you wanted to allow each side 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour, whatever, to make any argument they wanted to, you could do that. But I can't imagine how that's part of a review process.
Madam President, last question to make sure I'm clear on what Councilwoman Driver just stated. Whatever process is taken, whether it's executive session or in public, is no stipulation associated with that. So if you grant both parties the opportunity to make certain statements, there's no variance on what can happen in executive session versus public. We just need to set what that process is, whether no new information can be
Yeah,
added.
there's no reason for legal counsel to make any
Additional.
discussion in executive session.
Yeah. And that doesn't change if it's public.
That, same thing.
Same process, okay.
So the council is restrained from being able to ask questions to clarify things within the paperwork that we've been provided?
I don't think you're restrained, but there again, the purpose of this is to review. So if I suppose we can give you a checklist on the resolution of things that you want to say clarifying, if you want to put one in there that says that you want to hear, that each side will be allowed to argue their side of the case, you can put that in there. We can do it that way. We can give you a couple of different resolutions. How about that? We give you one that clarifies the executive session issue. We give you another one that clarifies whether or not you will accept arguments from counsel. And if so, what's the
With the
procedure for
latter
that?
one, that would be public. Okay, that would not be an executive session.
Yeah.
Got it.
Any other questions?
No, ma'am.
All right, I think we've effectively covered number 25, but I'll read it anyway. Resolution number 8811-26, a resolution in
Madam Chair, let
consideration.
me back up. So somebody
ahead.
made the comment about, we were doing this for the precedent. I would hope that when we get through this, since this is the first time in 30 years, I would hope that when we do this, we can come back and talk with you about a better way to handle these personnel reviews and appeals, okay? So I hope this is going to be a one-off.
Certainly, we look forward to hearing your advice on that.
Thank you.
Resolution number 8811-26 is a resolution in consideration of whether to uphold, rescind, or modify the March 23, 2026 Personnel Review Board disciplinary decision. Any further questions from the council? All right. I believe we have completed the agenda. If there's nothing else, then we're adjourned.